And we are back. Happy Wednesday. It's right smack dab in the middle of the week, but it's still the beginning of the month. Second day of November 2022. I'm Dan Kuntz, and we're underway here. On a chilly morning, it's 36 degrees in the big city. You think it's a little cool right now. You wait till this time. Tomorrow will be about 26 degrees. Big cold mass is coming in. It's going to settle around for a couple of days. It's not going to be too bad. Eric Granstrom just shared a Facebook video with me. It was snowing up on the plateau. Little snow in some areas around here, none expected in the Wenatchee Valley, but we're going to be doused good time with a big blast of rain Friday afternoon, Friday night, spilling into Saturday, some significant snow in the mountain passes. Weather's going to be very active here. It's almost going to be like, hope you enjoyed fall, here's winter. Details are coming up, including your pass forecast. If you're heading into the mountain passes, could get a little dicey. All those details coming up. We'll have the news. Sports, had a good time last night at Wildcat Stadium. Eastmont, no problems with Davis and girls soccer. First round at Get to State. They took care of Davis without any problems at all. We'll have highlights of that. Seattle Kraken beat the Calgary Flames for the first time in franchise history. Granted, they're only 2 years old, but they did it. Highlights of that. And Game 3 of the 118th World Series last night in Philadelphia. No problems for the Phillies. We'll talk about that as well. And speaking of sports, in the back half of the program, we'll finish up re-airing our interviews with the folks over there at the Eastmont School District. You know, if you live in the Eastmont School District and you're a registered voter, they're going to ask you to chime in and vote on this $185 million bond to make significant improvements to any number of campuses. A lot of it's security related, but also the aging athletic facilities at Eastmont High School. They're dealing with essentially the same infrastructure at Eastmont High School for their athletic facilities, outdoor facilities, since they built it. And it needs some serious upgrades just to make it ADA compatible. They got some bleachers that are probably going to be condemned in the not-too-distant future. Russ Waterman, the athletic director for the Eastmont School District, our good friend, will be joining me in the back half of the program. Let's get going. Let's have some fun. What do we got out there? Well, we got the Wenatchee Valley. From the Wenatchee Heights, it's still dark and will be for quite some time. Sunrise this morning, 7:46. Sunset tonight, 5:42. Again, with daylight saving coming to an end on Sunday, we go back to standard time. The sun will be up an hour earlier and going down an hour earlier. So the amount of daylight doesn't change. It's just we get that extra 25th hour on Sunday. And as I mentioned earlier in the week, why they do that in the middle of the night is beyond me. If we get a bonus hour, they should do it in the middle of the day. Well, first of all, we shouldn't be doing it at all. That's another story altogether. Camera number 2. I'll get off my soapbox. Oh, there's the Senator George Seller Bridge. I want to say that's the Cascadian camera looking south. Again, it switches to black and white. If it's not enough light to allow it to be color, it switches to monochrome, so we can let in as much light as possible. Light traffic on the Senator George Seller Bridge. What camera is that, Cap? Oh, that's from the roof of our station. That's cool. I thought it was the Cascadian. My bad. That's still the Senator George Seller Bridge. I'm pretty sure that hasn't gone anywhere. Camera number 3. Let's see what we have here. Ooh, there's some snow. That is yeah. Oh, we're going into hyperspace. Vroom. There we go. We outran the Jedi. What camera is that, Captain? That's Rude Canyon. That's up near the very tip top of Waterville. It is snowing up there. Oh, good. The captain's moving the camera around. That's a tower. And back towards the snow. So it is snowing up on the plateau. It's, of course, over 4,000 feet up there. And, of course, that camera is on a tower, so that's even higher than 4,000 feet. So, yep, it has been confirmed. They got some light snow up in Waterville, and camera 4. We don't have a camera. Oh, we'll use that one. That is definitely not snow, but I don't know what camera that is. Maybe Stein? That's Stein. That's Lake Chelan. Okay, well, whatever you... Okay, now I can make it out now. Yeah, okay. That's probably the Upper Butte then, I'm guessing. Or quite, yeah, I think I see it. No, it's not the Upper Butte. I don't know what that is. No, wait a minute, Bear Mountain. Is it Greens Knob? That's not Greens Knob, you goofball. We wouldn't be able to see that much. Is that Greens Knob? Okay, I'll trust you, whatever. Okay, I trust you now, Captain. Boy, is it going to get cold tonight, folks. Now, it's already chilly. It's 36. But as I mentioned before, there's a blast of cold air coming down from the northwest, and it's going to make us very chilly. And I mean downright cold by the time we get to this time tomorrow morning. So if you haven't blown out your irrigation pipes, this is the day to do it, because it's going to be a hard freeze. We're talking mid-20s in the Wenatchee Valley, and in many locations, you're going to see overnight lows in the teens as we welcome Thursday. So here we go. It's going to get cold. Now, we're going to warm up again. This is going to last a very long time, but it's going to give us a quick blast of winter, folks. A quick blast of winter coming our way overnight tonight into Thursday. And as far as snow is concerned, we're going to be okay. We're going to be, the lee of the Cascades is going to protect us from the snow. Maybe a little bit of snow down in Ellensburg. Most of our viewing area is not going to have any snow at all. Republic's going to get a pretty good dose of snow tonight into Friday morning. Mountain Passes are going to get some snow. About 4 to 8 inches of snow is expected tomorrow night on Stevens. Not so much on I-90 or Blewett. They might not get any real snow at all. But Stevens is going to get 4 to 8 inches of snow on Thursday night. And then on Friday, it's going to rain hard on Stevens Pass. And then an additional 3 to 5 inches of snow on Friday night. So it's going to snow Thursday night. Then Friday it's going to switch over to heavy rain on the US 2. And then back to Friday night, it's going to snow. And it is going to rain here in the big city, in the Wenatchee Valley, Friday afternoon and Friday night. We're going to be wet for the football game on Friday night. From the National Weather Service, here's your forecast. 47, our forecast high today, our normal high, 51 degrees. Again, once we get into the day, we'll see some sunshine for the most part. It's going to be dominant. 27 for the overnight low. That's the coldest we've had so far this autumn by quite a bit. Sunshine for the most part with a little bit of light rain possible Thursday night. This is when the next system comes in. We'll get up to 45, so below normal again. 33 for the overnight low on Thursday. Friday, here comes the rain. It's going to start in earnest about 2:30 on Friday afternoon. Going to rain for the rest of the afternoon. It's going to rain all night Friday. A lot of rain, like a quarter of an inch of rain, which is a lot of rain for us. And we're going to be it's going to be pretty miserable with the football game on Friday night. Also, some wind in some locations, not so much for the Wenatchee Valley. The rain will continue right on into Saturday, and then it tapers off on Saturday afternoon. We'll see some sun breaks with a high of 50. We wrap up the weekend on Sunday with more cold air coming in. Look at the overnight lows: 27, 26, 20, and the teens for the overnight low on Tuesday. And we cannot rule out some light snow in the Wenatchee Valley Monday night into Tuesday. Maybe Sunday, probably not so much. We'll probably have more rain than anything else, but snow is not out of the question in the overnight hours starting Sunday night and going all the way into Tuesday. It's like autumn's going to last like 10 days, and then we're just going to have winter. It's 8 minutes after the hour. Going to take a 1 minute break, grab your cup of coffee, come right back and join us, and we'll have the news. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley, Wednesday edition on the NCW Life Channel.
I'm Kim Schreier, and I approve this message.
Over 500,000 veterans call Washington State home, and many depend on the VA for their health care. But Matt Larkin told voters he wants to defund the VA completely. And if Larkin gets his way, that means veterans' hospitals would close down. Vets would be forced to pay more for prescriptions, and millions would lose the benefits they've earned. Matt Larkin. Reckless, dangerous, totally out of touch.
D&L Army Surplus in Wenatchee is stocked with items for the whole family. From ammo to collectibles and so much more. D&L Army Surplus, your one-stop shop for military surplus, survival, camping, and tactical gear. Bring the whole family and stop on by today.
Connect with us on Networked as we introduce you to the people and organizations who are leading innovation in the region. Get inspired, engaged, and networked right here on the NCW Life Channel.
That was a live shot from Rude Canyon up on the Waterville Plateau, where it is snowing up there. No snow down here. 36 degrees. Going to be very cold tonight. We're going to be rainy on Friday, and we're in for a very wintry mix, even though we're a ways from winter by the time we get to the latter half of the week. 10 minutes after the hour, 4 out of the 6 defendants in that gang-related East Wenatchee shooting have now been sentenced. They reached plea agreements in Douglas County Superior Court. 37-year-old Armando Valdez Godina was the latest to plead last week to counts of criminal gang intimidation and conspiracy to commit third-degree assault. That was for his part in that 2021 shooting near City Hall in East Wenatchee, which left one man wounded. Valdez was one of 6 people charged in the shooting. 26-year-old Jorge Reyes is already serving 3.5 years in prison for second-degree assault, and 29-year-old Juan Arturo Bolanos was sentenced last week to nearly 10 months for conspiracy to assault. Justino Omar Brito is serving almost 29 months. He pled guilt earlier this month to second-degree robbery, intimidation, and rendering criminal assistance. There are still 2 suspects left that face possible trial dates. The Wenatchee Valley Fire Department quickly knocked down an attic fire. This happened late yesterday morning in a house that's under construction just off of Rock Island Road. The fire broke out at about 11:30 at the house on Southeast Marlette Road. That's part of the 100-home Sage Brook development that's being built in the outskirts of East Wenatchee. Nobody was injured. Crews brought it under control less than an hour after the initial call. By the way, the fire agency says the cause of the blaze is under investigation. The Wenatchee Valley's largest hospital and clinic system has put a freeze on most hiring that doesn't deal directly with patients. Confluence Health says it's facing a $13 million loss and is working to shore up its finances. The decision follows an earlier move to reduce the number of beds for patients receiving less than intensive care. Confluence says the freeze on non-clinical hiring is temporary, and there are no plans for layoffs or job eliminations. The hospital system is still actively recruiting nurses and medical assistants. A major Leavenworth landowner has pledged to turn over 31 rental units to charity. They want to keep those apartments affordable as local rents continue to skyrocket. The Marson family, the founders of Marson & Marson Lumber, announced last month it will sell its rental holdings to Upper Valley Mend for continued use for affordable housing. The Marsons have maintained lower than average rents on those units since they bought them. That was about 50 years ago. Mend director Kaylin Bettinger says her agency has acquired $310,000 from Chelan County to begin the process of buying the apartments, and they're going to launch a capital campaign next year to secure the rest of the money. Upper Valley Mend has already helped build and then turn over 20 Leavenworth homes and to 20 low and moderate income owners. And Aurora Flores and Carnan Berggren are competing for the open seat on the Chelan County PUD Commission for the November 8th general election. The District 3 seat is currently held by Ann Congdon. Ann Congdon not seeking re-election. Berggren is a former PUD commissioner. He wants to return to the board. Flores is a 22-year member of the Manson School Board. Grant Olson sat down with both candidates. Today, you get to meet Aurora Flores.
You know, one of the things I like to really continue working on is, you know, they do apprenticeships. And one of the things I asked when we had a candidate orientation was, do we, communicate? I said, I'm going to put my school board hat on and my counselor hat on because I'm a school counselor. And I said, how are we encouraging our kids to, to apply and get on these apprenticeships? Do we encourage them? Do we present to them? And then, of course, the learning centers. I think those are amazing. When I started on this journey, I didn't realize all the tentacles that the PUD had involved in the parks, in learning centers. I mean, it's just been an amazing learning experience for me. And I think those are some of the ways that I would incorporate that experience into the PUD. Plus, as a board member, you have to, be aware of your budget. And I was an auditor for 21 years. And so I know a little bit about the budgets. And so I would be, wise, as far as how we spend our dollars.
Is there a particular issue that really gets you and makes you and drives you and encourages you to do this? Is it the fiber build out? Is it the education part? Is there something overriding issue that you really feel strongly about?
Well, if it would be one, it would be the fact that I am really passionate about making sure that we continue to provide sustainable, low-cost energy to our owners. And, the concern about, are we, I want to tell a story. I was recently at a function and I had I had to be there, and my son called and said, could you watch the grandkids today? And I said, yeah, as long as you can let them go with me to this function. And he said, oh yeah, absolutely. So they had booths up, and the kids were just going around. They would get free stuff. They'd play games, they'd get free stuff, and they were getting, the bag was getting fuller and fuller. And anyway, my grandson, who's 7 years old, he came to me and he says, now tell me again, why are we doing this, right? So I said, well, and I thought, oh, here's a teaching moment. I'm going to tell him that this is important because I want to make sure that he has power for the future, those kinds of things. And he looked at his sister, Ava, and he said, let's go get some more free stuff. So my teaching moment went out the window, I think. But really, that's really what drives me, is the fact that we need to care about our resources to be able to make sure that our future generations have them.
Tomorrow, you'll get a chance to get to know Karnen Berggren, and that is the news at 16 minutes after the hour. Grant and Eric and Cal and Jefferson and Mac and even the good captain will be chiming in to put together a newscast for you at 5 o'clock, 6 o'clock, and 10 o'clock with a preview. Here's the anchor, Grant Olson.
Good morning, Dan. Coming up tonight on the NCW Life Evening News, we will feature Karnen Berggren, candidate for Chelan County PUD Commissioner in District 3. Partly cloudy and cooler today with possible snow overnight on Thursday. I'll have all the details in your complete North Central Washington weather forecast. And in sports, Eric Granstrom will have the latest results from area high school soccer and volleyball playoffs, a look at last night's World Series Game 3, and reaction to last night's Kraken Flames hockey matchup. That and all the day's news stories coming your way tonight at 5, 6, and 10 on the NCW Life Evening News. We hope to see you then. Dan?
Thanks, Grant. Got a news tip, and we've gotten some pretty interesting and compelling news stories because you folks have pointed us in the right direction. We appreciate that. Get a hold of us. You can email us directly, news@ncwlife.com. That's our email address, news@ncwlife.com. We have a Facebook page. I sometimes call it In Your Facebook. But in any event, we have a messenger app there, as everybody does, and you can just go to our website and connect with us that way as well. Just about 18 minutes after the hour, sports, the obscure holiday today in history, some celebrity birthdays, and opinion from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and our good friend Russ Waterman talks about some of the improvements that's going to happen to the Eastmont athletic facilities if the bond passes next Tuesday. It's all coming up. You're watching Wake Up in Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Life channel.
At Washington Trust Bank, can't is a four-letter word.
I think I'll sell my veggies at the market.
Do you even remember to water the house plants? I do this?
You can do this.
Hey, we need to build a home office.
We're adding another bathroom.
I think I'll study programming.
Bro, you even connect your phone to Bluetooth.
We believe you can do whatever you set your mind to, and we'll help you get there. Washington Trust Bank, privately owned, locally invested.
It's the NCW Life Community Calendar, a presentation of Merry Maids. The 2022 general election is on Tuesday, November 8th. All ballots that are mailed must be postmarked by 8 p.m. on that day to qualify, or you can use the drop boxes. In Chelan County, boxes are located in Wenatchee, Cashmere, Chelan, Entiat, Leavenworth, and Manson. In Douglas County, drop boxes are located in East Wenatchee, Waterville, Cooley Dam, Rock Island, Bridgeport, and Mansfield. "19 minutes after the hour, the Seattle Kraken came from behind. In fact, rather dramatic fashion. And for the first time in franchise history, they beat the Calgary Flames, and they did it on the road. The final was 5-4. Seattle fell behind early. They fell behind 4-2 in the third period, but they came all the way back. Matty Beniers coming through with the game winner.
And now Burakovsky, long reach. He corrals the puck. Stick handling through into the zone. A pass, a shot, and a goal from Carson Soucy, and the Seattle Kraken lead 1-0. 4-on-2 developing here for the Flames. Toffoli moving up. Centering pass. He shoots, and he scores. Nikita Zadorov ties this game. Nazem Kadri skates in, going to the net. Backhand to forehand, and Kadri scores. There's a 2-on-1 Alexiak to Geeky. He shoots and he scores as the Seattle Kraken tie this game at 2 apiece. Scramble draw shot, scores. Tyler Toffoli, the go-ahead goal. When it counts, he's on the board here. The Flames looking for more, and they do just that. Trevor Lewis says it's my turn, and the Flames lead by 2. And now a 2-on-1 shorthanded Blake Coleman. Lewis, Joey Decor. Outstanding save. Beniers waiting. Still has it. Now he passes to Bjorkstrand. Right in front of the net. They score. It's Daniel Sprong. And the Seattle Kraken are within 1. Rasmus Anderson to Godry. He gave it away. Yanni Gourde home alone. He scores. And this game is tied at 4 in the 3rd period. Over to Hannafin. A wrist shot. And Joey Decor extending with the right leg. Lucic trying desperately to keep it in. He can't. Seattle has numbers. Everly with Beniers. Beniers shoots, and he scores. As the Seattle Kraken once again have the lead, 5-4. Beniers missed it. Larson with a clapper. Stopped in front, but that's going to do it. The Seattle Kraken with their first ever victory against the Calgary Flames.
Coach Dave Haxtell not real happy with how the team started out in the 2nd and 3rd periods, but he was happy that they came back and won.
We've got to have a way better start to the 2nd period. I mean, we were back on our heels for the first 10-12 minutes of the period, and in that situation, they're going to come out with the push. We have to do a better job of meeting that. But we were able to, right the ship a little bit in the second. The last 8 minutes, we felt like we got back to our game a little bit, and then. Again, just to start the 3rd, I mean, you give up a quick face-off goal, and then just a miscue coming out of the zone on the wall. Those are the little plays that a lot of times will get you beat, but I give our guys a lot of credit. We got a great save at 4-2, and we showed really good resiliency to find a way back in the game.
Joey Decor made his first start of the season between the pipes, had a good night, 37 saves.
Yeah, I mean, hockey's a crazy game. It was a nuts game. I just can't believe, you give up 2 quick in the 3rd, it's 4-2, you're like, that's probably it, and just an amazing effort out of our team. I think it kind of shows the character that we have in this room to battle back like that, and our PK was awesome all night, guys blocking shots, making my life easy. And then to get a shorthanded goal from Gordo was just huge. And, I felt like it was just a huge character win for us. And I'm just happy to be a part of it and play a part in the win.
Kraken continue their road trip. They'll be in Minnesota tomorrow night, 5 o'clock on Root Sports Northwest. Lance McCullers Jr. through batting practice. I could have hit home runs last night. The Phillies hit lots of home runs, and they routed Philadelphia Game 3. They routed Houston Game 3 of the World Series. We got footage there, Captain. I'll narrate all the home runs. And here we go. You want to see a bunch of home runs? Well, there's one from Bryce Harper, and there's one from Alex Bohm, and there's one from Brandon Marsh, and then there's Kyle Schwarber, and Rhys Hoskins got in on the action as well. They had a party in Philadelphia last night. Game 3 of the World Series goes to the Phillies. The Phillies now lead the best-of-7 series 2-1. Game 4 is tonight, 5:03, I should say, on Fox. Game 5 tomorrow. They'll travel on Friday if necessary, and then they'll play Houston in Houston Saturday and Sunday. The Wildcats advanced to the District 6 4A tournament in soccer last night with a 6-0 win over Davis. 2 of my favorite people were scheduled to call the game, but they couldn't make it, so instead it was Sebastian and Matt.
I think Eastmont feels pretty confident going into this game. They've found ways to score.
Oh, we have a takeaway there. Let's see what happens here. And the shot. Oh, it's Link's pass. Oh, go. Bit of a miscue by the goalkeeper. Unfortunate. It's Link's pass between her legs. And we'll tell you in a second who's there to tap it in. But just like that, 1-0, less than a minute into it. Johnson Edge of the box. A good penetration. Goal, 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 goal! Completely untouched. Completely unmarked. The Wildcats put it a second time on the board. We'll tell you in a second who it is. But she had the easiest time going down that right flank and putting it in the back of the net. I'm sure the folks here at Eastmont High School are trying their hardest to get it back up and running again. A quick move into the box. Fisher, the shot. Goal, 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 goal! 3-0 for the Wildcats. Julia Martinez, far post, the touch. Oh my goodness, the save on the second try. This time by Fisher doesn't pan out either. Bit of a touch for Ferguson. Left-footed shot. Ferguson. Goal, 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 goal! 71st minute, and Ferguson has a brace. 2 goals in her personal account. Reeser taken back. Good ball. Good maneuver into the box. Right-footed shot. Goal, 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 goal! My goodness, make it 5-0 for the Wildcats.
I saw one of those electric Hummers the other day.
Say something?
Oh, goodness.
Quick run down the flank. Personal maneuver! Julia Martinez makes it half a dozen. And there's the whistle that tells us that Eastmont moves on to the next round to play the winner of Eisenhower against Moses Lake.
And by the way, they will play Eisenhower. The Cadets beat Moses Lake in the other play-in game last night. The final there was 3-1. And Cascade advancing to the crossover round of the playoffs. They dispatched Quincy last night in Leavenworth. The final 6-0. The Jackrabbit season now comes to an end. The playoffs continue today in the District 6 1B, 2B tournament in Quincy High School in soccer. Liberty Bell faces Brewster for 3rd and 4th place. That's at 4 o'clock. And then Tenasket will take on Okanagan for the championship at 6. Eastmont will have another home game tomorrow in the district tournament when they take on Eisenhower. That game will start at 6 o'clock at Wildcat Stadium. The Panthers are on the road. They'll play for the district championship at West Valley, also at 6 tomorrow. Eastmont's volleyball team was also able to advance into the district play-in round last night. They swept Moses Lake. Wildcats winning 25-19, 26-24, 25-22. Davis was also able to advance. They won over Eisenhower in 4 games. In loser-out action in the District 6 2B tournament, Brewster ended Liberty Bell's season 25-11, 25-10, 25-12. Lake Roosevelt beat Tenasket in 3 games to advance. At the District 6 1B tournament in Antioch, Moses Lake Christian and Antioch advanced to the championship, Lions beating Waterville Mansfield and the Tigers sweeping the Eagles. The 2B tournament moves to Omak High School tomorrow. The semifinals has Brewster meeting Okanagan at 5:30. The other semifinal, Lake Roosevelt and Manson, that'll be at 7. The 1B tournament is at Wenatchee High School tomorrow night. Wilson Creek and Waterville Mansfield, they'll get going at 7 o'clock. Antioch will take on Moses Lake Christian for the district championship at 7 o'clock at the big gym, at the big school. And those are just some of the games that people are playing at 28 minutes after the hour. I try to avoid food related obscure holidays because there's so many of them and they're so obvious, but I love deviled eggs, and I don't like to brag too much on my dishes. I make a really good chili, very proud of the chili, but I also make a very good deviled egg. And I discovered this secret about 25 years ago. You don't use the mustard that comes out of the jar, the liquid mustard that comes out of the squeeze. Don't use that. You use dry mustard, ground mustard. Adds a little bit more of a tang to it than regular mustard. So I highly recommend that. And I also put in just a little bit of, well, I'm not going to tell you because it'll spoil it. I don't want to do that. Anyway, happy National Deviled Egg Day. It's a handy dish. It's not too hard to make. And you're in. You can eat it as a main dish, or you can put it out on the side for parties or whatever. I love deviled eggs. Deviled eggs don't like me. By the way, in Russia, they make deviled eggs, but they put caviar in the middle of it instead of the egg yolk. It sounds good, doesn't it? Let's do some of that. Of course, I can't afford caviar, not on my $219,000 a year salary. It's 30 minutes after the hour. Oh, geez, now Tucker knows how much money I make. We are into the election season, so let's do some presidential elections, shall we? November 2nd, 1920. 102 years ago today, the senator of the fine senator from Ohio, Warren G. Harding, defeats the governor of Ohio, James M. Cox. He's elected the 29th president of the United States. 404 electoral votes for Warren G. Harding. It wasn't too hard. Cox got 127. In Chelan County, Harding won 58.5% of the vote. In Douglas County, 58% of the vote went for Harding. Warren G. Harding, in the 1920 presidential election, the one we're just talking about, is the last Republican to win all 39 counties in Washington state. The 1920 presidential election. 74 years ago today, one of the biggest upsets in presidential election history. Nobody saw this coming, certainly the experts, but the incumbent president of the United States, the Democrat Harry Truman, upsets Republican Governor Thomas E. Dewey. 303 electoral votes for Truman, 189 for Dewey, and Strom Thurmond, running on the Dixiecrat Party, got 39 electoral votes, all of them in the Deep South. In Chelan County, 50% for Truman, 48% for Dewey. In Douglas County, Truman got 56% of the vote. Dewey got 42% of the vote. And by the way, Harry Truman campaigned in Wenatchee on his Whistle Stop tour in the autumn of 1948. He also campaigned in 1952 for Adlai Stevenson. Harry Truman is the last president to have ever visited the Wenatchee Valley. And it's been 70 years since that happened. The 1976 presidential election on this date in 1976. Jimmy Carter, governor of Georgia, defeats the sitting president of the United States, Gerald Ford. He's elected the 39th president of the United States. Jimmy Carter got 297 electoral votes. Ford got 240. Gerald Ford won 27 states, which is the most states any losing candidate ever won. In Chelan County and Douglas County, not surprisingly, Gerald Ford won rather handily. 56% of the vote went to Ford in Chelan County. In Douglas County, 53% of the vote went to Gerald Ford. And November 2nd, 2004, that would make it 18 years ago today, George W. Bush is reelected to a second term as President of the United States. He defeated John Kerry. It was a close one for George W. Bush, 286 electoral votes. For John Kerry, 251 electoral votes. George W. Bush is the most recent Republican presidential candidate to get at least 50% of the vote. That's a remarkable statistic. He easily won Chelan County. Bush did, 63%. He got 67% of the vote in Douglas County. Statewide, of course, John Kerry won Washington State with 53% of the vote. Let's do some more today in history. Happy birthday to both North Dakota and South Dakota. We'll start with North Dakota. They were both brought into the Union on the same date at the same time, November 2nd, 1889. President Benjamin Harrison, when he signed the official declaration, they mixed all the papers up and then they covered up, and so all he saw was where he was supposed to sign. That way, neither state could say they were in before the other state. But they consider North Dakota the 39th state and South Dakota the 40th state because they just do it alphabetically. Fair enough. North Dakota, the Peace Garden state, 90% of the land in North Dakota is farming. No surprise there. You won't find any Rite Aids or Walgreens or any chain drugstores in North Dakota because the state law in North Dakota requires that pharmacists own pharmacies. They tried to repeal the law a couple of years ago. They said, no, we'd like it this way. There you go. North Dakota has 1.75 million cattle and 774,000 people. So there's more than 2 cows for every person in North Dakota. And there is South Dakota, the Mount Rushmore state. The largest city in South Dakota, which is growing by leaps and bounds, is Sioux Falls, South Dakota. Sioux Falls, the largest city, is larger than the next 7 largest cities in South Dakota combined. That's remarkable. And of the 10 largest cities in the state, only Rapid City is west of the Missouri River. Everybody lives east of the Missouri River for the most part in South Dakota, which also joined the Union on the state 133 years ago today. Happy 102nd birthday to radio. Commercial radio, anyway. KDKA in Pittsburgh becomes the first ever commercial radio station in this country. Their first job on this date on November 2nd, 1920, was to do presidential election results. Commercial radio, 102 years old today. AM, here it is 102 years later, and they still use the same technology. And finally, 6 years ago today, in one of the most amazing, incredible, wildest baseball games I have ever seen, it took 10 innings. It had everything, but the Cubs finally did it. After 108 years, the Cubs are the champions of the baseball world. Here's how it ended.
Both teams trying to snap long droughts. The Indians, a 68-year drought since their last title, the longest such drought in the American League, and the Cubs, well, you know, it's been 108 years since their last title. 2 down. A little bouncer slowly toward Bryant. He will glove it and throw to Rizzo. It's in time, and the Chicago Cubs win the World Series. The Cubs come pouring out of the dugout, jumping up and down like a bunch of delirious 10-year-olds. The Cubs have done it. The longest drought in the history of American sports is over, and the celebration begins.
The seventh game of the 2016 World Series went to extra innings and had every possible baseball scenario took place in this game. It's one of the greatest games ever played. It was a very good World Series, too, by the way. The Cubs finally did it 6 years ago today. They were supposed to be a dynasty. Didn't quite pan out. Did it. Finally, at 36 minutes after the hour, birthdays, couple of presidents. We always do the presidents. For a one-term president at his time in the mid-19th century, James K. Polk did a pretty good job. In fact, most historians consider him the most accomplished one-term president. When he ran for president, he said, I'm only going to serve one term, and that's it, which is probably good because he worked himself to death. He died 3 months after he left office. James K. Polk is the only Speaker of the House to ever become President of the United States. He was a compromise candidate in the election of 1844 for the Democrats. Nobody really wanted him, but nobody really wanted anybody else either. He kind of got it by default. He worked 12 hours a day, 7 days a week. He had no sense of humor that anybody actually thought of. The United States exploded in territory in his 4 years. We grew by 1.2 million square miles because of James K. Polk. We got California, Utah, Nevada, Arizona, Washington, Oregon, Idaho. James K. Polk, the 11th President of the United States. And Warren G. Harding. So James K. Polk did pretty good. Warren G. Harding was terrible. One of the worst presidents we ever had. The 29th President of the United States, born in the state in 1865, died under mysterious circumstances during his presidency in 1923. He owned the local newspaper in Marion, Ohio, the Marion Star. He won it in a poker game. And he became the most popular guy in Marion, Ohio, because he insisted that at least once a year, every man, woman, and child in Marion, Ohio would see their name in the newspaper. Smart move. He was very popular when he died. It wasn't until after Warren G. Harding died that all the scandals and the corruption came to light. He had all kinds of extramarital affairs while he was a senator and as the President of the United States. He had a mistress. And when he ran for president, they moved her to Asia, and they paid her $20,000 to get out of his hair. And my favorite quote from Warren G. Harding, I am not fit for the presidency and should have never been elected. It is 39 minutes after the hour. We are going to take a quick break. You're going to hear from Mike Mad Dog McNaughty. And then Russ Waterman is going to talk about some of the improvements to the Eastmont athletic facilities, if in fact the $185 million bond passes next Tuesday. Russ will be my guest when we come back. You're watching Wake Up on Wenatchee Valley on the NCW Live channel.
Election season is heating up, and the NCW Live channel is putting local candidates in the hot seat. Join us starting at 8 a.m. Sunday as we interview the contenders for Chelan County Sheriff and the Chelan County Board of Commissioners. Tune in for these in-depth conversations so you can vote with confidence. That's 8 a.m. Sunday and again throughout the week on the NCW Live channel.
Hi, folks. Welcome to Save Mart. How can we help you today?
We're looking for a recliner.
Okay, right this way. Go ahead and move this chase on the other side. You can use this one.
Great. I want that one. I like that one.
That's a great choice.
And I want this one as well.
Okay.
And I definitely want this one.
You'll find it at Save Mart. Full service at a low, low price.
Businesses and individuals have trusted the experienced professionals at Financial Alternatives for their retirement and investment needs for 40 years. They offer a broad range of investments, annuities, and insurance solutions for people and businesses throughout Washington. Financial Alternatives will assist you in making informed decisions for your future. Call Financial Alternatives today and meet with their advisors.
Bob's Burgers and Brew in East Wenatchee, a place for the entire family. Open daily for lunch and dinner. We use only the finest ingredients, prepared fresh when you order. The full menu includes your choice of over 20 gourmet beef or chicken burgers. And catch your favorite game in their full-service lounge while sipping on an ice-cold beer. Bob's Burgers and Brew. Fast, friendly service. We will see you there.
Mad Dog McNaughty, and everybody is entitled to my opinion. Now, Western Christianity is focused on personal sin, considering the things that I have done wrong, saying that you're sorry to Jesus, and asking to be forgiven. Well, what about the sin of social injustice? Many of the lessons in the Bible aren't focusing on whether or not you stole a candy bar, told a lie, or said a bad word, but instead, a lot of messages, particularly in the Old Testament minor prophets and the major prophets too, they address things of social injustice. Now, the Old Testament prophets were big on chastising God's people for focusing on themselves and ignoring the poor, the hungry, and society's outcasts. Maybe the church in America should start being more concerned about racial prejudice, economic inequality, and things like whether or not we are a society that cares for the dispossessed, instead of wondering if Jesus is someone's personal Lord and Savior. This is Mike Mad Dog McNaughty, and that's my opinion.
This could be the view out of your office window.
North Central Washington is probably one of the most beautiful places to live, and you get to experience it all as a transit operator.
Link Transit coach operators enjoy full family benefits, paid CDL training, a state-of-the-art fleet, and the satisfaction of being part of a progressive, community-minded team.
We have a lot of fun with each other. I mean, it's a good group of people. We're all kind of like a family.
If you like this view, Link has a seat for you. The next operator training starts soon. Apply today at linktransit.com.
Josh is a small business owner in Chelan County. This Josh just switched to long-lasting LED bulbs. That Josh still uses conventional light bulbs. This Josh spends more time with his customers and growing his business, knowing his LEDs will last for years. That Josh is replacing his conventional light bulbs again and again. Install new lighting in your local business. Chelan County PUD can pay up to 100% of the cost of your new lights that save energy.
Getting ready for the boating season is easy with the help of Bob File Boats and Motors. Now's the time of year to upgrade your boat from a new motor, a bow mount, installing a state-of-the-art GPS fish finder, or just fixing your trailer lights. Make your appointment today. With marine technology changing fast, the service department stays up to date with the newest developments and factory certifications. Spend more time on the water and less time at the shore. Get ready for summer fun now at Bob File Boats and Motors.
Mary Mates of Wenatchee believes a clean home is a happy home. Mary Mates provides holiday cleaning services to cheer about. Don't let the seasonal cleaning ruin the festive fun. Mary Mates can simplify your life at a great value. It's never too soon to start planning a holiday perfect home. Mary Mates of Wenatchee happily offers a worry-free guarantee. Locally owned and operated, let Mary Mates do the cleaning while you focus on your family and friends. Call Mary Mates today.
Welcome back to the program, continuing our look at the $185 million school bond that will be up for the ballots for you folks who live in the Eastmont School District. Again, it needs a 60% supermajority on the November 8th election. We already had our conversations with Dr. Becky Berg, the superintendent of the Eastmont School District. Great, great lady. Love her to death. Hate to say it, but I love this guy a little bit more because Russ Waterman has been a very good friend of our television station over the years. And Russ is here specifically to talk about some of the upgrades to the athletic facilities that will be in the hopper if, in fact, this bond passes. Russ, first of all, thanks for taking time out and joining me. I appreciate it.
Hey, no problem. Anytime I can get out in the campfire smoke and breathe it in, I'm good. So.
It's not so much the improvements that we need here at Wildcat Stadium, it's the deficiencies. A lot of the infrastructure that we're dealing with here at Eastmont High School at Wildcat Stadium is original to the construction of this field in the late 70s and early 80s, and it shows it.
Yeah. It's like when you buy a house, and over the course of the time you own that house, you've got to make repairs. Things get tired, things get old, and that's where we are currently. 10 years ago, when we remodeled the high school, the only adjustments we made out here, we took the jump pits that were on the inside. It was a hazard to play football. We moved those out so we could put soccer in here, deal with the Title IX issue, and have our girls soccer program play in the premier facility. And then we did an overlay on the track. And decades come, and the overlay, that's about the life expectancy of the overlay. So we really need to look at how we can make this back to a facility that is going to be lasting for another 10, 15, 20 years for people. So, yeah, one thing that we'll need to address is the track. The track's, it's worn out. It's failing. We can't do another overlay. The lighting, we've struggled with this year. We've just replaced on the west side all the baffles in there, and we're talking about baffles. We're not talking about LEDs. These are original lights. Yep. When we pulled them out, there's some baffles that were probably 40 years old. We got a good life expectancy out of them. But the bleachers on the visitor side, those are ancient. Those have been repaired several times with, where we can put the Band-Aid on here and there, and we'll have to address the surface that we're playing on now. The conversation will be natural grass versus synthetic sports turf. We don't know. We'll see what that's going to cost, what that is going to be for our use. It all has pros and cons. I mean, one of the things that we're thinking of is what can we do here so we can actually open up an access for our youth sports groups to get to our facilities. And so there's always that argument. But, we have that in mind of not just captive of Eastmont, but how do we get everybody in the community available to use our facilities, use our practice fields, use our game fields, and promote athletics into our youth. So there's a lot of projects there. When you go outside of the stadium, our tennis courts are failing. I mean, they just are, and they've been repaired several times. We've had them. The contractors come in with what they call gorilla tape and gorilla mesh, and then over top of that, but just the foundation has moved and it's shifted in the many years that it's been here. We have to deal with that, and we have to deal with our Title IX issue that one of our competitive teams does not have a facility to practice or play on here, and that's our girls softball program. The fourplex was a great idea when it was made. It was a needed thing for on campus. But it's not on campus, and they're the only group that is an organized team group that has to go off campus. Our golfers go off campus because I'm not sure we can put a golf course in here. I would like it. I'd be okay. We could put Eastmont Top Golf in here. We'd be good, but they go off campus. And that's about it. You know, our cross-country runners actually go off campus to get some run-outs and everything else, but everybody else is here, so that's a priority for us.
And it should be pointed out, and Becky mentioned this when we talked earlier, almost nothing here on the footprint of the Eastmont High School athletic facilities is ADA compliant. If you're confined to a wheelchair, you're really in trouble here.
Yeah, when you look at, we brought in a consultant this fall, Jay Hammis. He came in from Safe Sports Zone, and he looked at our facilities, and there were several things we had to do with traffic flow here in the stadium. It was just, you know, walking over the surface of grass and tree roots is a hazard, so we had to change that, but you're spot on. We don't have anything that's ADA compliant. Right now, our answer to that is if somebody is coming in with a wheelchair patron, we bring them out onto the track and we put them in a safe position there, and you know that has its own drawbacks if the game were to spill out in that way. So we really need to address those issues that we have.
Is there a wish list? They say, hey, Russ, you got your not all the $185 million. They're not idiots. They're not going to give you all the money, Russ.
It's not Texas.
What would be your, if this passes, what would be your number one priority here on the athletic facilities at Eastmont High School? What tops the list? In your mind?
Right now, it's going to be safety issues. Always going to be safety issues, whether it's the surface that we're playing on or the stands that our fans are in or the access, whatever it is. Those have to be addressed easily and foremost. And then after that, we need to look at what's going to last for, like I said, 15, 20 years. If we can get that to where, you know, when I'm long gone, you're long gone, the next people that are coming in here, they realize that, you know, they did a really good job on long-range planning. We don't have a lot to do in 15 to 20 years. So the stadium is a priority. Like I said, girls softball is a priority to make things. And then, again, access for our youth programs. Anything that we can do to allow them to come in and access our facilities, that's going to be a benefit to everybody.
And it should be pointed out that upgraded, modernized, and renovated facilities can be, in fact, a revenue source for your thing. We've seen that over in Wenatchee with what happened at Leave-Off the Field at the Apple Bowl. Jim Beeson has to turn down people who want to rent his facilities because they're so nice. The same thing can happen here.
Oh, yeah. The revenue stream isn't really the driving piece of this. I think when you look at if you have a synthetic field, so let's say if you talk about a wish list. So if we were able to take all of our playing surfaces and make them field turf, now you are opening it up for all of our youth community groups to host tournaments. So soccer tournaments, football tournaments, lacrosse, rugby, whatever the case might be. You know, back in the 80s that we hosted track meets here, state track meets here. We need to bring that back because once we bring those people in, then we're talking about all of our restaurants, our hotels, our stores. That's going to be a revenue source for them. So that's where my focus is here. You know, the rental fees are rental fees, right? They're a burden and they're a revenue source, but the more we can do to bring into the community, that's the whole kind of thinking behind my logic.
One last thing before we cut you loose. The whole Eastmont athletic program as a whole is really doing well. I mean, academically, athletically, you got some coaches who really give a damn and who care for the kids. I got to see Coach Don, just observe him coach the kids, and he has that right balance of fun, and yet we have a task to do. And I've seen that with your volleyball coach and your basketball coaches. You got a great bunch of guys and gals here.
Oh, we're blessed. We're really blessed. And Eastmont's had a rich history of good coaches and good programs. And so this isn't really something new, but I think it's coming more to the forefront of when you look at how do we treat kids. I mean, honestly, it's got to go beyond the wins and losses. And again, we can only use the COVID crutch for a couple more, months. I've told that to our coaches. We can't say, well, we're coming out of COVID. Yeah, okay, that's something that doesn't even matter anymore. But we got to address that social emotional learning of the kids and that mental health of the kids. And the more we can do on that aspect of it, the better off they're going to be. They're going to thrive. But no, we've been blessed that all of our coaches have had some success. And one of our first things that we talk about is relationships, lifelong relationships with your teammates, your coaches. Those are important. You're going to remember those a lot longer than you remember the scoreboard, guaranteed.
And I tell you one thing, from a behind-the-scenes television standpoint, it is a lot funner to come here on a Friday night and televise a game when these stands are full, and they have been lately with the success of the Eastmont football program, and the kids like that too. The kids love playing in front of an enthusiastic crowd with a lot of people here. That has been a huge game changer for you guys in the last 6-7 years.
Oh, I think so. I think it's become more of a staple again, where people are going to say, hey, let's go out and watch the football game, or even our soccer programs. Both soccer soccer programs in the stadium get good crowds. If you go into our basketball games, we're getting good crowds. Volleyball gets good crowds. People want to come out and see something. I think that's a tribute to our coaching staff, and it's more of a tribute to our athletes we have that, they're paying attention, they're getting better, they're working, and they're competing, and we have a good product out there. We're very competitive in the league. Right, it's a good league, it's a fair league, it's a travel league, obviously, and we do pretty good. So yeah, you're right.
Yep. Russ Waterman, the athletic director for the Eastmont School District. Go Cats! And I'm going to go out, and Russ can't say vote yes. He can't say vote no. I can. Vote yes. And let's give the first-class athletic program here the first-class facilities that the student athletes deserve, and you can be a part of that come November 8th. Russ, it's good to see you. Go Cats.
Yeah, go Cats.
You know it. You're watching Wake Up Wenatchee Valley. We'll be right back.
Why do we put so much effort into engineering the Can-Am Defender? Why do we equip it with tough Rotax engines featuring best-in-class torque? Why do we give it industry-leading towing and hauling capabilities? And why do we make it clever with versatile cargo solutions and much more? Well, why do you put so much effort in everything you do? Because a job worth doing is worth doing right. Can-Am Defender. Tough, capable, clever.
I believe we've been coming to Abby's for 56 years, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah.
56 years.
Remembering all the events as a family and a community that we spent at Abby's.
Excellent and delicious food at an affordable price. We're delighted that we live close enough to be able to be a frequent customer.
And we are.
And we are. In fact, we've got orders to bring home a giant pizza when we leave here tonight.
How much are you paying for adult, family, or assisted living? Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living offers one-bedroom apartments for one affordable price. Their rates are all-inclusive. No nickel or diming or sudden increases, just one set price. You or your loved one will receive good food and excellent care in a relaxed, home-like environment. Stop on by for a tour to see if the Epladolin family is the right choice for you.
Family-owned and operated Epladolin Retirement and Assisted Living in Cashmere. Affordable care.
1989, I moved here in July. My dad farmed, my brother's still on the family farm. I worked for a dealer in Lewiston, Idaho. I was his general sales manager. My boss goes, I got a guy that may be ready for a store. We made one trip here, and that's how I ended up here. I'd never been here in my life, and I had no friends here. I have nothing, you know. I do now. I have a lot of friends here. I mean, this is my home. I love living here.
When I was about 16, I got in a relationship. He hit me for the first time in front of his daughter. He physically abused me in front of my children. I couldn't do it no more. Sage was there for me when I needed them. I didn't hear a lecture from them. I didn't hear anything, but just acceptance. And that's what I needed at the time. And they help you with everything that you need to move on in life and heal.
And we are back in what's looking like a typical November day, but late November, not early November. It is 37 degrees outside of our studios. We've ticked up a couple of degrees, but and that's a live shot. Is that back up to Blag we are, Captain? That's Rude Canyon. That's Rude Canyon. I'm sorry. And that is a lens that is covered in snow. We went to that camera. It's just foggy up there. We went to that camera at the start of the show about an hour ago, and it was snowing up on the Waterville Plateau, and boy, is it going to get cold tonight. Everybody in our viewing area is going to be below freezing. In many locations, overnight lows tonight into early Thursday morning is going to be in the teens. Now, we're not going to be that cold. We'll be mid-20s here in Wenatchee, but that's plenty cold for most people. That is well below normal. And then maybe a snowflake or two. Take a look at where you live. Again, the Lee of the Cascades is going to protect us from any kind of significant snowfall tomorrow night into Friday morning. The big story Friday afternoon and Friday night is going to be rain. We're going to have a lot of rain, but the mountain passes are going to get snow. Tomorrow night, Thursday night, Stevens Pass is expecting anywhere from 4 to 8 inches of snow, and then a heavy rain on Stevens Pass all day Friday, and then it switches back over to snow on Friday night. For the Wenatchee Valley and our viewing area, here's what we're looking at. Partly sunny skies today. The clouds are already starting to depart, as you can see. We'll get up to about 47. There's the overnight low, 27 degrees tonight. Then we warm up, not much, 33 for the overnight low on Thursday. Rain Friday afternoon, rain Friday night into Saturday, and then another blast of pretty cold air is going to dig in and make us kind of cold and a little wet the early part of next week. Hey, that's it for us. Have yourself a great Wednesday. We will see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.